Hello, and welcome to the post-show Stars and Wishes. This, I guess, this is not going to be the first one of these you're watching, but it's the first
First
one we're
one for us.
recording.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for us. So we have no idea what we're doing. We have not talked about this format at all. But back when me and Caitlin and occasionally Drac did Power Play, after every episode, the whole cast would sort of sit around and do this thing that B. Zelda introduced us to called Stars and Wishes. And the idea is just you sort of call out things that people did that you liked and maybe talk about things that you would hope for, that would happen in future episodes. At the very minimum, I don't know, how many wishes we'll get in here. I don't know. We're
Just stuff we're excited about.
yeah, just stuff
Yeah.
we're excited about. Yeah, I don't get into like spoilers territory, but as far as stars go, I guess I would start off by being like, first of all, the way you both just instantaneously sunk into two characters that you had never played before, with such conviction and so, I mean, just I was so thoroughly swept up in both of their personalities. They both had so much personality, like immediately. That stars all day for, and Drac especially, used the bonds to yourself, your self bonds, a couple of times, which is just goes to evidence of how great you are at like being the character. And just like every time that came up, it was just sort of like, yes, that's what Justin would do, and it moved the story forward in such a kind of positive, perfect kind of way. It's like, I feel like by this point the audience will certainly know it's like Psych is a huge influence on this show, the old USA show Psych, and they also have sort of a way of kind of just charging into situations that they are unprepared for, that that sort of moves the mystery forward and puts them in tense situations, and Justin just did that over and over again this episode. And also Annie. Annie, you have a name and it's Caitlin. It's Caitlin. At the beginning when you were doing Annie's business cards, and like the whole like the bully beating up on you on the bus thing, it was like I genuinely wanted to cry.
She's just a little guy. She's just a weirdo. Why would you bully her, Rick?
It wasn't me. It was Owen Bates. I've repeatedly said I cannot be held legally responsible for the actions of NPCs. So I could go on all day because there's like 500 things I like. But we're trying to keep these relatively short, so I'm gonna pass this off to one of you.
I will go because
Sure.
I absolutely first, Rick. Thank you first of all, because I think we did we slipped into character really easily, but I feel like it's because you gave us so much to like play off of. Because even right at the beginning, I had like a very like exaggerated idea of like character of Justin, but then after you put us in like the situation with Owen Bates and like the interaction between our parents, and kind of asked us questions about what, even like asking us questions of what we ate for breakfast, kind of like put me into the mindset of like, okay, what do I eat for us? Why do I like it? What is Justin's like thing? And I think that helped a lot. So I think it's just as much as a testament to our role play, I think it's just as much a testament to your GMing skills.
And also, you asked us
questions.
So many questions beforehand too. Like you were like, "What about this? What do we know about this? What about like that?" Like all of that is like foundational to character stuff, even if it's not in game. Like just to make us think about those things, and then to have that continue into game is something. I mean, I've played with you a bunch. That is a thing that you are consistently good at, and it is. And the first session of anything, the most relieving thing ever. Like playing a session 1 or session 0 is always really nerve-wracking. But like I know coming into it with you is I'll be like, oh, I'll find the character. Like I wasn't 100% sure coming in. I had some thoughts, but like I knew once I got into the world, your world, like fully finishes shaping them. It's like the little sprinkles of whipped cream. I find them immediately. It's great.
I just get off on prodding creative people to be creative and seeing what comes back at you. It's like,
it's a good skill.
Yeah. Oh my god! And you two are just so good at watching these characters sort of form over the last couple of weeks, like bit by bit, and kind of wondering what this was going to look like when they were actually coming to life. Also, the way you went through the mystery was just incredible.
Yeah, I
It
need
was
to
like,
know what you expected and what we did different.
Yeah.
okay, the knife, like, I didn't think about it all. Like, immediately I was sort of just like, I was like, okay, they're going to talk to the security guard or go talk to the principal or go for the security cameras or something. Like that was like, stuff I had planted that I thought about. And then immediately you went for the knife. And I was just sort of like, oh my God, I didn't think about anything about this. And so, early on, I was just sort of like, I've got to find a way to tie the knife back in. And when you went and looked up its name in the book, and I was just like, okay, I'll give it like a specific name that someone will know later, and that'll kind of give that away. And it's like, that was something that came out with an epiphany point, but it was like, what I loved is by the time you spent the epiphany point, like you had every part of the mystery. Like it was, you knew exactly what was going on already. You just needed that last like linchpin, to feel confident about it. And it's like, that's kind of what those points were designed for. Because like, mysteries are such a hard genre to run in an RPG. It's like they work very differently on television, where like characters can look around a room, and then later in the episode, like on Psych, Sean will look at a room and he'll see three things, and then later in the episode, someone will say something, and it'll flash back to that moment, and that thing will pull out. On an RPG, it's like you can't really do that because you have to either describe a thing or not describe a thing. So it gets real tricky about how you plant clues and what you make people aware of when. And I was real nervous about that aspect going in, but y'all killed it.
I will say I did have like a big like ping moment when we read the name of the knife in the report. I just didn't put it all the way together. So I was like, I feel like I just genuinely, the epiphany point, that was like, I think we waited until like, I think that was the perfect time to use both of them. And like, because I literally also had thought like I was like, maybe we film we somehow get like a secret film confession. I was like, oh, I don't know, but I don't even know who we talk to. And then like doing that, like it all like solved it in the end. So it's like, it's great. It's so good. So I was really like, I did also, just so you know, for your edification, it did also like ping in my brain a little bit. I just
that is great. That is great. It's such a detective show moment. We're like looking at the thing and being like, "There's something wrong with this, and I can't quite put my finger on it." And like it noodles at you for the rest of the episode until finally you have the epiphany. So it's like it worked just like a detective show, and I don't know, I'm pretty delated.
Really good, so good.
My other star, my star for Caitlin is I love Annie. Annie's adorable. I immediately want to protect her with my life. And I don't know, it was just so much fun being able to bounce off of you. I mean, we're playing together for a reason. I think it's so much fun. I miss playing with you too.
We can do it regularly again.
This is very funny because we're like, oh my God, I miss playing with you. But it's like episode what? 7, 8? So everyone else watching this is like, you've been playing for like a while. Month.
And also like us being like, I miss playing with you, as if we didn't just finish an entire episode. Like we just so funny.
No, it was just as easy like having someone to bounce off of, and like almost like it's hard to play a character who has history, but like we haven't role played the history. But we did it perfectly, and I think being able to bounce off of each other like that was just made it that much more beautiful.
So fun.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely loved it.
I loved it.
What's totally great is that like this game, which obviously the audience won't see till much later, is the history, and now you have role played what will be the history. Yes, you have it.
It's so good.
Justin and Annie only knew each other for about 6 months and have kind of a weird tentative relationship. So this is kind of their first formative mystery, their first formative experience as like friends who can rely on each other through thick and thin. And it's like, this will now be the role played background.
Exactly.
And it's like,
that was one of the reasons when we were asking like, oh, when we do this session 0, is that they have their, we talked about this for like, they have their detective agency and this is the case, or does this become the first one they've ever done? And the timeline kind of worked out that it would make more sense that this is the first one they do together. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, it would be fun to like have like the case of all time. But I think it was so good for us having never played these characters, and then also have not played in this world together, having to like be tentative and weird, like getting to like build that in as they're like actually building a relationship was really good. Like I love that. I think that it turned out really, really good, and I'm so excited. I do like always a billion stars for anyone who will like make bad decisions, but like going in and like purposefully getting in trouble and like being like, no, I'm gonna roll to see if I notice. Nope. And like it's just amazing. Look at yes, absolutely. I feel like, especially with like thinking of power play, I get so into the like, oh god, we could get in trouble for this, and I'm like, no, this is not like where it's a slightly different genre.
Yeah.
Get in trouble, and like you were immediately on it. You were in the genre. Every single decision you made felt like an episode of a TV show. Like it all was good. Every beat you hit, like you're so quick. Like I've said this before, but like you were so whip quick. You were so fast with character decisions and like making weird fun choices. And so like getting to do that, and now that I know it's like it's just you and me, buddy. Like let's go. Like I'm so excited. It's so good. Oh, I'm so jazzed. And oh my god, taking the camera and running, like so I was like, I don't know where to do this. Go. Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun. So good. So I love them. I loved it so much.
I've only had Justin and Annie for a couple of hours, but I feel
it's et cetera. Yeah,
et cetera. All right. So honestly, I think that about closed down our brief stars and wishes, or stars, whatever we're calling it now. And it's the first one we ever did. Not bad, I don't think. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on the Cases of Costa Vega.
Bye.